Okay, this video here is going to be about rattlesnakes. And some of this would apply to a copperhead snake here in the United States as well. But a rattler, generally, when they get stirred up and fixing to bite, they do rattle. Probably not every time. But anyway, here we go. I've got this gallon jug here, and I'm holding my shooting stick so I can show some things here. And I'm trying to hold this old camera steady here. Okay, I'm going to tilt my head up. You see that little walk bridge there? So just simulate I was walking by this jug, or right across this jug to that little walk bridge. So you're walking through the woods. Okay, rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes, they call them rattlesnakes, but before they bite you, chances are they will be buzzing. They won't be rattling. What a rattlesnake will usually do is when they're under imminent threat, they buzz. It sounds almost like a June bug coming out of a blackberry patch, if you've ever picked blackberries, okay, except louder. Okay, if the snake gets that riled up and buzzes, and the danger he feels starts to lessen, his rattle will start to lessen, and then it will sound more like a rattle, and it will get progressively slower, okay? So if you got a pair of rattlesnake rattlers, you probably can't even with your own hand shake them as fast as what he'll be shaking those rattles when he is in imminent danger. Okay. Rattlesnakes, when they rattle, well, Mother Nature has done something real special with the rattlesnake. They catch their prey by striking. And, you know, you can read a lot of books on this. Here's all I can share with you based on my first-hand accounts with rattlesnakes while squirrel hunting. If you hear a rattlesnake in the woods as you're walking along, in my personal opinion, you need to go backtrack. Stop, ease back, just like I'm doing right now, real slow. Okay? Chances are that snake you're getting closer to that snake as you walk. Now, the question is how close are you getting? Well, you won't never know. Unless maybe you get bit, then you might figure it out. So here's what I'm going to show you here. I'm going to move this jug over here. Now, it's right there's where the jug was, and I've moved it over about 3 or 4 feet. When you're in the woods and you hear a rattlesnake go to rattling or buzzing, the way it works with them is you can't find out exactly where they're at based on the sound. It's almost like they're almost like being ventriloquists where they throw their voices. Okay, so you may hear a rattlesnake rattle. Okay, and I'm gonna move this jug back over here in the path. You may hear a rattlesnake rattling. I'm going to move this camera up here a little bit. He may sound like he's all the way over here to your ears, when in fact, he may be only a foot right of that jug right there. You're fixing to walk right by him and probably get bit. This has happened to me on 4 different occasions. And no 4 of those occasions could I tell where that rattlesnake was. And only one of these 3 occasions, or 4 occasions, was it actually weedy. It was actually cleaner ground where I heard these snakes are rattling it, but I still couldn't find them based on their sound. Okay. So, start backing up. That's your best bet. Unless you see something immediately that tells you to do otherwise, that's my best advice I can give you based on my first-hand accounts with rattlesnakes. Now, there may be a virus out there, and I've seen this firsthand. And this is where I sort of got into trouble last year. A rattlesnake will rattle uncalled. I had one rattle on me last year. It buzzed with a squirrel in his mouth stretched out. I guess it might be a safe bet to say when a snake eats, he's not called up. He's got to get that squirrel or rabbit or rat, whatever he's eating, down his belly or whatever. This snake was not called up. And I tried to find him. And I couldn't find it because that's exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for a pizza pan, you know, something like that laying in the woods called up with an old head sticking up. Because that's what I'd usually found, you know, in the past. But I'd never seen a squirrel with a vermin or a rat or whatever in his mouth. Now, I can't go into details about what happened on that little adventure, but I can tell you this. A rattlesnake does not have to be called up to strike. I can tell you that with 100% certainty based on what I seen that day, okay? And folks here may understand why I can't tell you what happened that day, but they do not have to be called up. So, to even approach a rattlesnake that is rattling or not rattling, that's stretched out, and you think you're going to get up closer to him, you had better be awfully careful. That particular snake in question that had that squirrel that was stretched out, now I've got this camera on this jug, and I'm going to back this into this shoot stick up. Now, it's hard to see in this camera, okay? That shoot stick is about 3.5, 4 feet from that jug right there. That's how far that snake's head, that day that had that squirrel in his mouth, he dropped that squirrel, he flailed his head and body that far towards me. I wasn't that close to that snake. Okay. You know, they make stuff you can wear on your legs to help with snake bites. I can't tell you how effective they are. I don't want one biting on me no matter what I'm wearing. Okay, now the copperhead, when he gets you, you're probably going to have a bee sting feel, okay? You're not going to hear no rattle. You may hear the leaves crunch if it's dry, okay? If you was to be in the woods and get a bee sting feeling down on the lower part of your body, okay, you need to give that some attention. If you start feeling nauseated, if the area starts swelling, if you start urinating a lot in the next few hours, there is a chance that you've been bitten by a copperhead. I had a cousin who was bit by one, ginseng digging, and he thought he was stung by a bee. Okay, he come over this little rock ledge, and evidently it bit him, and he was in fact copperhead bit. He did recover. Okay. Now, I don't have any experience with cottonmouths, okay, and the rattlesnakes we have here in my area are timberback rattlesnakes. I do have some experience in the grand state of Mississippi with eastern diamondback rattlesnakes, but it's very limited. I run up on one down there. They're a bigger species rattler than this timber rattlesnake we have here in Middle Tennessee. I hope you enjoyed the video.